Alright, welcome back to the T1 Fitness channel. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like this video, share it with your family and friends, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel to get all the new videos whenever they come out. Alright, so this is video 3 in my upper lower body split workout plan. So we've been over upper body day 1, lower body day 1, and now we're moving into upper body day 2 and lower body day 2. So much like upper body day 1, there are going to be workouts that I've done before, either here on this channel or on my Instagram, showing clips of workouts that I've done, and also workouts that people have wanted to see. People have DM'd me and asked me to kind of incorporate into my workout plan. So it's going to be a nice mixture of that. So you get to see me do new workouts, but also get more in depth with the workouts that I've done before on this channel, and I can elaborate more on what's different from now and then. So let's get into it. The first exercise I did is the incline bench press. So with this exercise, I've obviously done this before on my channel and on Instagram, but I like the fact that it works your upper chest as well as your shoulders and triceps, much similar to the bench press, but the bench press is more whole chest. With the incline, you're working more of your upper chest. So whenever you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure your hand grip placement is where you want it to be, because if you're closer grip, you're obviously going to be working more of your triceps and your shoulders. The farther your grip is, you're going to be working more of your chest. So I did 4 sets of this exercise, but one of the sets I did repeat a weight at 135. And kind of a tip that I didn't really talk about before on this channel is that it's okay for any exercise to repeat a weight for a set. A lot of people would encourage it on many other exercises, and it's okay if you don't immediately go up 5 pounds or 10 pounds on the next set. If you don't feel comfortable moving up, if you don't feel comfortable moving up from the weight that you just did, keep doing it until you feel confident, until you really feel like you killed that weight, and then you can move up. Because if you don't feel confident in benching that weight or racking that weight, then you're only going to be hurting yourself. So make sure whenever you're doing any exercise, whether it's incline bench press, squat, whatever exercise that you're doing with weights, make sure that you feel comfortable repping that weight however many times you feel comfortable with, obviously. Before you move up 5, 10, 15 pounds, it doesn't matter, because like I said, you don't want to hurt yourself. You want to make sure that you're confident in going up in weight. So it's okay to repeat a set. So I repeated weight on one of the sets, but then I ended up going up the next set because I felt like I did the repeat a lot better than the first time. So incline bench press, it really works your upper chest, and like I said, the chest is really important for you to work. I work it twice a week, and I do variations of different chest workouts to kind of make sure that muscle really, to kind of break the monotony of doing the same kind of exercise. So the next exercise is a triceps exercise that I like very much, which is the tricep push down or pull down, depending on how you look at it. I like doing this exercise mainly for the fact of the matter that you can really feel the extension whenever you're doing that exercise. You can feel your muscles contracting. You also get a very good pump after you're doing this exercise. A lot of bodybuilders, a lot of fitness gurus like to do this exercise. The ones that I've found, at least, that like to work out, do triceps pull down or push down a lot. But whenever you're doing this exercise, especially when you're doing it with a rope, you want to make sure your hand placement is firm, because whenever you're going down, you want to make sure you're controlling that weight all the way down, getting that full extension, and then slowly letting it back up. A lot of people just let it slam every time. I'm not a big fan of letting it do that because it's distracting, and I just want to make sure that you control the weight all the way through the rep and make sure you can really feel the burn through all of that. But once you're done with the set, if you let it go, sometimes it's fine, because at that point the lactic acid has built up and your muscles are pretty much getting to the point of fatigue. So trying to control that weight all the way at the end of the set is a little bit harder than trying to do it at the beginning, and making sure you're watching it through each rep. So whenever you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure that you do get that full extension and you do feel that burn in your triceps, and then you feel that pump after the set. The next exercise is a little different from the normal shoulder press. This time I used the Smith machine in order to do shoulder press. The basic movements are still the same, it's just that it's a Smith machine. So whenever you're doing this exercise, you have a little bit more of a safety net with the Smith machine because it is attached to something and it's not just you having to lift that bar completely by yourself. I wanted to do a different variation of it just because I felt like I wanted to change up the routine of doing a normal like dumbbell shoulder press or with just a normal barbell. I wanted to try something different, and it was a little bit different with the weight, of course, because starting with a Smith machine, it's 15 pounds starting weight for a Smith machine bar. So I kind of had to adjust in that kind of way where I had to add more weight on to the bar to kind of adjust to balance out what I normally start off with. But other than that, it was pretty much the same hand placement and pretty much the same movement. I really felt a burn kind of in my front delts and a little bit in my rear delts, but I really felt a lot of burn in the shoulder. So whenever you're doing this exercise, especially with the Smith machine, it's like I said, it's a little bit safer if you don't feel comfortable using dumbbells or a barbell. You can use the Smith machine to where even if you can't get a certain weight, you can easily rack it back without hurting yourself or dropping the weight. So if you feel that you're not comfortable doing it with a dumbbell or a barbell, I would definitely suggest the Smith machine and then kind of move to the dumbbell and then to the barbell just as you get comfortable. So just like the chest, you want to hit the shoulders, both the front and the rear delt, at least twice a week. I also incorporate that. If you can go back to the upper body video that I made, the first one, I do incorporate a shoulder exercise in that one as well. So I make sure to hit those twice a week. But also whenever you're doing the bench press, you also are hitting your shoulder muscles as a secondary muscle group. But I told you when you're doing the bench press how to kind of downplay the usage of your shoulder muscles by extending your grip a little bit farther, so you're not working your shoulder muscles as much. But you want to make sure, just like with your chest, you're hitting your shoulder muscles 2 to 3 times per week. So the next exercise is another one of my favorites that I've done on this channel before, and it's the cable rows. So the cable rows work your back. So I like this exercise because of the actual motion of pulling the weight to you. You can actually really feel that pinch in your back, and you can really feel the back muscles contracting, much like the triceps exercise. And just like the triceps exercise, you get a really good pump in your back after that. So whenever you're doing this exercise, no matter what bar you're doing it with, you want to make sure that you're pulling that weight all the way to you, as close as you can to you, and making sure you can really feel that pinch in your back and feel those muscles tightening as you do it. And much like most of the exercise that I do on here, you want to make sure you can control that weight all the way back to its starting position for each rep. And so whenever you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure that your hand placement is where it needs to be, because like I said, depending on what you're using, you want to make sure you have a firm grip, and you want to make sure that you are still doing the exercise correctly, but you're also getting the right muscles worked. So much differently than the tricep and the chest and the shoulders. The back is a little bit different. You do want to hit this about 3 to 4 times a week. It's a little bit more because there are the upper, the mid, and the lower part of the back. So you want to hit all 3 of those muscle groups, and sometimes you don't hit them all in one exercise day, and you have to hit the other 3 quadrants of your back another time. And so you can do face pulls for the upper back, you can do rows for the middle back, you can do many different other exercises for your lower back, but you want to make sure that you hit it at least 3 times a week. Some people do it 4 times a week, but I do it 3 times a week. So you want to keep that in mind also, that the back is a little bit different than the other muscle groups that I've talked about, that you want to hit 2 to 3 times. You want to hit your back 3 to 4 times a week. Alright, the last exercise is a bit of a new one to the channel, and is the Vbar curls. I like doing this exercise because it's different than the other style of curls that you can do, you know, the barbells, the wavy bar, the easy bar. Like, you can do so many different types of curls, but at the same time you kind of I at least kind of get stuck doing the same like barbell or dumbbell curls, and I want to do something a little bit different, so I use the V-bar and the cable to kind of switch it up a little bit. But I like that it works pretty much the long and the short head of your biceps, and I like the fact that you, much like the other exercises that I've talked about, can really feel those bicep muscles tightening as you're bringing that weight up. So whenever you're doing this exercise, just much like the other exercise that I've talked about as well, you want to make sure your hand placement is firm. And then whenever you're pulling that weight up, you want to pull it all the way up as close as you can to your chin in order to really feel that burn in your biceps. So much like the other exercises, you want to hit the biceps 2 to 3 times a week in multiple different fashions, because like I said, there's a long head and a short head of your bicep. You want to try to hit both of those. So one workout you can hit the long head with different workouts, and then the next you can hit the short head the next time you work out. But the overall goal is to hit both of those sides of your biceps to make sure that you are getting that muscle growth in both of those parts of your biceps, unless you want to have a lopsided bicep, which, you know, can happen if you focus too hard on one part of your bicep. So I'm not saying you have to be an anatomy major, but you want to make sure that you understand the muscle groups that you have to hit, and the different types of muscle groups within those muscle groups that you have to make sure that you're hitting all the time. So biceps, you have to hit them at least twice a week. If you want to hit them 3 times, that's fine, but make sure that you're cognizant to not overtrain your body, because if you overtrain yourself, you won't see any muscle growth. You will just be fatigued, and you'll wonder why. And you won't see any muscle growth, and you'll wonder why. It's probably because you've overtrained your muscles. Alright guys, so that's my video. Hopefully you guys learned something new about upper body workouts and muscle groups and things like that. So this was the 3rd video in the set that I'm doing. So I'll be doing the last video very soon. It'll be lower body day 2, and we'll be going over different sort of lower body workouts. So the next video that I'm planning to do after this series is going to be focusing more on low impact exercises on the joints, your knees, your elbows, your shoulders, things like that. So make sure to subscribe to my channel to know when those new uploads are coming out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.